just came here to tell you that right now I'm on Peloton. So if you want to make a difference in this community, you better go on my Twitch and follow me there. This Peloton has like a lot of surprises, a lot of gifts for the community. I mean, this event is more for you than for me. So if you just follow me here on YouTube and you don't watch my streams, it's your time to finally do something about it. Don't you think? So, that's it. Let's go to the clip you want to watch. You posted like this new video, finally addressing your allegations. And let's see what is it about. You know, let's see what is it about.
Com o novo eu consigo trabalhar até cá fora.
Eu escolhi o novo porque os amigos são para a vida.
Com o novo, ensino poupança.
Okay, get out.
In this video, I'll be addressing all the allegations, such as am I trans, gay, or anything along those lines. And I will also explain you the reason behind the actions I'm taking. I'm also filming this on my birthday, October 13th, so...
Happy
yeah,
birthday!
about this.
Wait! His birthday was in a Friday! This was a... Oh my god. Oh my god, Vlad! What? What? Was it on a Friday?
Let's start
I'm
with
not...
simple stuff. Am I...
Wait, it was on a Friday or... No, it wasn't on a Friday, no. It was on a Monday? Sunday? I think it was a Sunday, yeah.
gay,
Was it?
trans, or anything along those lines? The answer is no. But Vlad, why do you dress so much? Well, because it's what you want to watch. Let me explain. Any piece of content that I do not appear as a girl, right off the bat gets like...
I mean, but that's the persona you already put on the internet, Vlad. That's the persona you already put. You are known for it. You know?
60 to 70% less clicks.
Yeah, we like you see trolling people.
That means even if it's the best video in the world, people will still not give it the chance just because I'm not dressed up. Why is that important? I wanna make amazing videos, but those videos require budget, and some of them I'm already making, but realistically you won't see them for another 2, maybe 3 years. Yes, I film and plan very ahead. As I mentioned, those videos require big budgets. In order to get the big budgets, I must first make videos that you wanna click on. In fact, I put over 90% of anything I make back into content. For reference, these are my current bank accounts. Considering I made over $250,000 and I'm left with something around 10k, which by the way I'm also spending in the next days on other videos, kinda proves my point. I really don't care about money or fame, I just wanna make the best videos I possibly can. Another allegation that I get a lot is that I'm going too far. That's not the case. The only reason you believe that's the case is because you are used to other creators who are essentially farming their audience for money. Other creators are simply very lazy, so they don't work much at all, and other creators are simply to try anything. Therefore, when a Vlad comes along and works 24/7 on his craft, it looks like he's going too far, but in reality, I'm not even dressing up that often. Yes, 99% of my videos is me dressed up, but I film only about 30% of the time. The other 70 I'm just on my computer editing, which is something you don't see. Realistically, outside of the filming hours, my life is incredibly boring. All I do is sit on the computer and edit. And if you don't believe the statement I made about the majority of other creators, well, trust me, I've spoken to way too many creators, and I can assure you that's the case. Obviously there are exceptions, as in everything in life, but there are not that many exceptions. But you see, I wanna innovate. I wanna try things that other people simply will not do. I wanna make videos that are gonna be watched for years and years to come, because they're not just a cash grab. For example, my IRL videos, I feel like they're a great example of something that cannot be replicated and simply shows a social problem through comedy. Because in my opinion, showing any kind of problem through comedy is the best way to go, because people will watch and will remember at whatever they laughed at. And specifically for this example, harassment towards women is something that we all have heard of, but before my videos there wasn't really a way you can prove as to how often or how much that happens. The dumbest thing is that I get some people saying those videos are fake, because once again they're used to YouTubers who just fake their stuff over and over again, and also probably live in their own little world when they don't see the realities of life, I am assuming. One of the videos I wanna make that really do make a difference is gonna be my life story, and I seriously believe that it is capable of inspiring millions and millions of people. But in order for it to do that, it firstly needs to be able to reach those millions and millions of people, which if they don't click on my videos to begin with just because I'm not dressed up as a girl, is not gonna serve the purpose. And the reason I'm saying that is because there are many things you don't know about me. I've had quite an insane life not many people know about, and I've been through most of the stuff you can probably name. Deaths, assassinations, poverty to the point where we barely had bread to eat, which as a child that's pretty devastating, domestic violence, and with this I'm just touching the surface, trust me. So I seriously believe that I do have the means to inspire people to try for a better tomorrow. I just need the power to actually transfer that message successfully. Because realistically, fame, the money, I've seen creators who care about just about those things, and to say I'm disgusted would be the least. Especially since all they care about is their fame and money, they don't care about the fans, which those are responsible for the position those creators are in right now.
I love his accent.
In fact, I used to be one of those fans years ago, and that's why I promised to myself that no matter what, no fan of mine is gonna have a bad experience meeting me. I'm always gonna be there to give 100% of what I can possibly give, no matter how tired I am, how bad I'm feeling, or anything else. I will always be there to make sure that fans know that I appreciate them. Also, I found this clip of me from 4 years ago.
I'm shooting this video in 2020. Everything is going downhill right now. My father recently passed away. I have exactly €0 in my bank account, €0 on me, so I'm pretty much as broke as it gets. I was pretty much stabbed in the back by... I don't know why, honestly I don't know why, I don't even know why I'm making this video right now, but I want you guys to know that on my channel right now I have 160 subscribers. I barely get any views on my videos right now, so things will change. See ya in a few years.
Another thing that I really get a lot is that it's not just a persona. I like it, or stuff like that. Well, obviously I'm acting, so whether I show that I'm scared in the video, in reality, I'm not really scared. Or whether I act way too girly, let's say, in a video, I just do it because I think it's gonna make the video either more funny, or more interesting, or it's gonna add to the video. Just like this video, for example, where I'm acting drunk. In reality, I hate alcohol. I never drink, and I have been sober for basically my entire life. And why do I go so far to act on every single detail? Because the videos are real and there are no take-twos. But since I make so many of you believe that it's not just a persona and that I like it and stuff like that, that means I'm a great actor. Therefore, Marvel, come on, don't be shy, send the invitation, cast me. Jokes aside, just to prove the point that if I'm not dressed like this, people don't really click it. This, for example, is one of my best videos in my opinion. I put my heart and soul into it. And the people who actually sit and watch it, my best videos in my...
Wait, what?
if I'm not dressed like this, people don't really click it. This, for example, is one of my best videos in my opinion. I put my heart and soul into it. And the people who actually sit and watch it reflect the thing in the comments. What do I mean by that? It's almost an entire hour of a video, and on the first minute, 75% of the people are gone. You know why? Because they click, oh, it's not an Omegle troll video, oh, he's not dressed as a girl, I'm out. But the people who sat and watched at least 1 minute of the video got hooked in the storyline and watched the entire hour video. I mean, I'm not making it up. Look at the retention graph. It's flat.
I'm gonna
on a
watch
1
it
hour
now.
video. Anyhow, I'll keep giving you what you wanna see to a certain extent, but I will also experiment with different kinds of videos both on my main channel and my other channels. Which, speaking of, let me give you a full list. Because probably many of you are probably watching this video not even on YouTube but on TikTok or Instagram, so yeah. First of all, we got the main channel, maximum effort, maximum budget, maximum everything. Secondly, we have the extra channel, which is basically the same theme as the main, but anything that I don't consider top-notch clip, I throw it in the extra instead of the main one. Vlog channel, stuff that I do IRL that I consider cool, sometimes related with the main channel videos, some other times not, but I really wanna do more videos as my normal self, let's say, and that's exactly where I'm gonna be posting them. V&S Couple, a couple channel of me and my girlfriend Samantha. Sadly, I'm a workaholic, I work 24/7, so we don't get to spend much time together. Thankfully, at least we work together, so it's not like we're far apart, but we don't spend quality or fun time together per se. So I feel like this channel is gonna help us do more stuff together, whether it's fun, cringe, or whatever. Gaming channel. Ever since a kid I loved gaming, but as time went on I had to start working, then I got hooked into YouTube, so I never really had the time that I wanted to play the games that I loved. So now I'm finally gonna be doing that, and I'm gonna be posting the videos on that channel, and I'm gonna be live streaming them at the same time on my Twitch TV. The Natalia channel. Now this one is gonna be a little bit tricky, because it started off as a thirst trap channel to see how well that's gonna go for a different YouTube video challenge I was making, but I ended up being, let's say, more creative. For example, I created a reality show, basically a parody of a reality show such as the Kardashians, but for my character Natalie. And I'm gonna be in character for every single video on the channel, so keep that in mind as you watch the videos. The React channel. You don't really need context about that, I just react to stuff. And finally, I have a mystery channel, which is one of the projects I mentioned before that you're gonna see in 2, maybe 3 years. But in my
That's a
honest
lot.
opinion, I feel like it's gonna be one of the biggest social experiments on the internet. But if you magically find the channel, it's gonna make zero sense, because quite frankly right now, there is not even English content on it. But that's also in the plan and serves the purpose of the social experiment. And once that's out in probably 3 years, I guess, the internet is gonna break. If you
3
thought Nikocado
years.
Avocado was 2 steps ahead, then you're in for a big surprise and a mind beyond your belief. If you made it to this point in the video, you're one of the few people who did. So I would like to thank you so much for these 2 years, for the
You're
crazy support I've
welcome.
been receiving. It's honestly been amazing and I cannot express my gratitude enough. But once again, thank you. And if you're watching this in 2027 and beyond, then that means I probably made it, because a video that I will make in the future in all those years will redirect you here. And to my future self, I hope you make it, buddy. I really do believe in you.
Aww.
We started from zero. Nobody believed in us back then. And everyone
like you
who
have
could
a lot.
potentially sell us out did so. So future me, I hope we did
Like,
manage to
as
make
a
it.
lot.
And I'm off to work, because the best way to predict your future is to create it. Never give up on your dreams, guys.
Okay. We can see Natalia show, but I want to watch that video we made.
This is Herak,
the man who saved my life. And to thank him for all the motivation and influence he has given me, I traveled to the United States to deliver him a hand-sculpted pizza play button built by me and my girlfriend. This video is gonna need a lot of context because the story is unbelievable. But don't worry, I got you. These are the main characters of the story. Eric, the big YouTuber who saved me. Mac, his best friend and editor. And Tyler, also his best friend. I will also mention Creator Now, which is a bootcamp / course. Basically a school for YouTubers with multiple workshops each week. How did he save me, you may ask? In early 2020, I was in a dark place. I was broke, depressed and miserable.
Yeah.
Up to that point, I have been through a lot in my life. Domestic violence, my brother was murdered when I was 10, which made me scared from my life from a young age. My elder sister had abandoned me. I had to live in absolute poverty with an immigrant mother working 2 jobs to survive. I had to start working at the age of 13, and among these things, many others. But as a child, no matter what happened, I always loved to entertain people. And that's where Eric comes in. In early 2020, I found his channel when he had less than 10,000 subscribers. And I had noticed something that I have never seen before on YouTube. He had a genuine love for making content. I don't know how to explain it, but you could feel it, and that's something you cannot fake. At that moment, I was inspired like never before. I saw myself in that guy executing crazy ideas when he had nothing to work with. That was the moment I said, in that guy executing
Wait, that's him? Because that's... yeah.
crazy ideas when he had nothing to work with. That was the moment I said to myself, I'm gonna be a YouTuber no matter what. At the time I had no computer, so I started posting TikToks. As soon as quarantine was lifted, I got 2 jobs and I quitted university. On my final year, I worked for a couple of months. I knew that I had enough money to sustain myself for a couple of months and I could go all in on YouTube. The first month that I quitted my jobs, I joined Creator Now. And what do you know? The first day that I joined the video call of the bootcamp, Eric joins to welcome us. In that call, it was just me, Eric, and 4 more people, of which was one of my best friends, Kimon, who has been helping me ever since I started the channel, no matter how crazy the idea was. As I was saying, after a brief talk, Eric told me that he expected a lot from me. So I fully committed. I was staying awake until 5 AM for the workshops. I was working on my videos 12 to 14 hours a day, which caused me to outwork and outperform 99% of the people there, reaching 10,000 subscribers from basically zero with just 6 videos. Eric made me chase my dreams, and it was time to travel to the US to thank him in person. I booked my tickets to Los Angeles exactly when Eric would hit 10 million subscribers. But you may ask, how did I know when that would happen 2 months prior? This is me booking the tickets as soon as I found money in August. I knew everything I needed 2 weeks before that. I calculated it based on the average daily gain, the frequency of uploads, and the spike of subscribers when he actually uploaded. My estimated date was between 10 and 17th of October, and my birthday was on the 13th of October. And I said to myself, this is way too accurate to be random. Then I tried to contact Tyler. Thankfully, he responded fairly quickly. We jumped on a phone call. I was nervous, but I told him my plan, a big pizza delivery to Eric's house. I'm talking about the pizza play button. Why to his house? Because Eric said how convenient it was for Logan Paul when Eric did it to him.
For Logan, he didn't have to leave his house. He didn't have to do anything special. I showed up at his house. I do this big scene with a bunch of money in my hands, very clickbaity, easy to do. I fix a problem for him.
And yeah, I would fix a problem for him, but I will cover that later. Also, you may wonder, how did I know where Eric's house is? You would be surprised how easy it is to find that kind of stuff when you just pay a little attention to details. GeoGuessr players will know what I mean.
This knowledge, which is the Alzheimer's countries, because of which, near them Montenegro.
And I thought that he would find it impressive since he values wit.
This is a test of wit. Who can think most creatively? Who can think outside the box?
And I managed to guess both the location and the date. But Tyler told me the fact that I managed to find the house was weird and that it was a bad idea since Eric doesn't like when people go to his house, which is understandable. I just thought I could make it worth it. So I tried to see if there was any way around it to turn it into a good idea, but Tyler insisted that I shouldn't. But as I was thinking of an alternative, Tyler had to go, so he told me to speak to Mac. So I went to Mac's livestream, and after hours of typing in his chat, I finally got his attention. He replied on Instagram and told me to speak to their producer. By then I already knew that I would respect their privacy and not go to the house, as you can see in the DM here. I DM'd their producer multiple times across the next month to arrange something, but never got any response. But I wish that was the worst part. I had arranged accommodation for a long time in advance with someone. Let's call him Mr. M. I had also asked him if Phidias could help with accommodation for a night or two. Phidias is the Cypriot guy who used to be on Airac's team, and he traveled to the USA when Airac had 1 million subscribers. Since we are from the same island, I would help Phidias whenever I could with videos.
What is he doing?
The reason I asked Mr. M and not Phidias directly was because Mr. M was filming a video at the time with Phidias, and Phidias is almost never on social media, and it's very hard to contact him because he prefers doing other things like exercising and listening to books. Long story short, Mr. M sent me a voice message a couple of days before my departure and told me that he has changed his mind and doesn't want to host me anymore.
It's 9:15. How am I already underwater?
I'm in the same
Oh, I would freak out.
I'm in an actual boat.
I thought.
If it happened, Pia would freak out.
He also told me that Phidias said, "I don't care, figure it out yourselves," regarding my accommodation question, which pretty much means not my problem. I was a bit disappointed by Phidias because I would help whenever I could, and his response was, "I don't care." I didn't know it at the time, but Phidias would play a massive role later in the video. But that would change nothing. With just $500 on me, I would still go to America. I said my goodbyes to my girlfriend, who's in a tough financial situation just like me. But this queen supported the hell out of me both financially and emotionally during this trip. I would not fail, because funny enough, at whatever I do, I have the same mentality as Airac.
When I decide to do something, I will either succeed or die trying. Those are the only two options in my mind.
After 16 hours, I was finally there. I met Kimon there, who was hard to convince to join me on this, since he has no money as well. Just like me. But it was fine, because if there is one thing that Airac says and proves again and again is that with enough determination you can achieve anything big. Our Uber, who had a Tesla, took us to our luxurious hotel. Yeah, it was just a square room without a toilet. But it was even cheaper than hostels, and that's where the plan starts. We went to Santa Monica Pier, also known as the place from GTA. I took a photo announcing that I was there to deliver a gift to Airac, and posted a couple of stories and TikToks. Then I asked if people thought Airac would respond to me.
Do you think I'll make it? Definitely not. I appreciate your positivity. Do you believe in me?
I do. 100%.
Do you know Airac?
Eric? No.
Airac.
No.
10 million subscribers YouTube? No?
No.
I know you.
But more problems appeared. When I checked my socials, I couldn't believe what I saw. Instead of support, a lot of people were commenting that I was copying Phidias, because he gave a gift to Airac when he went to meet him. Thing is, we had completely different aspirations and reasonings for doing that. We even make different content, something which the people sadly didn't seem to understand. Some people though were actually tagging Airac on my post. First day went by, I had no response, so the next day I had a different idea. I took a cardboard and turned it into a sign. I went to Santa Monica to draw attention, hoping that people would upload me on their story tagging Airac.
I'm coming from the other side of the world just to meet Airac!
Needless to say, that failed. So I decided to take a different approach. I told my followers to tag me on his latest post, hoping that he would notice. While that happened, we decided to take a look at the beautiful city. And while doing that,
the famous houses are there. The houses of the two personalities. What?
The beautiful city. And while doing that, I kept uploading stories, even some jokes and memes in between. Me and Kimon waiting for Airac to respond. And then it happened. Airac saw the stories. I was so excited. But the excitement was short-lived when I noticed that he only saw the two stories in the middle that provided no context. One of them was literally a meme. Nobody had yet contacted me, which had me worried that he saw the stories with no context and thought that I'm some kind of idiot randomly tagging him. The next day was my birthday, and I had to improvise again since nothing worked so far. We decided to sit at the park and send our location to Airac and Mac, and we would update our situation through stories, hoping that we would get some kind of response. Eric, this is day 3 of me waiting for you. It's also my birthday, and since today I'm homeless. As you can see, this is my luggage, and I will be staying here at this location, which I have DM'd you until you actually show up for the delivery. I will spend the night here, so I don't care what time it is, I'm waiting for you. The internet connection would not help me though. It would take me 20 minutes to upload a single story. On top of that, my Google payment account got cancelled. I had no idea why, but I would receive no money from YouTube on that month. You notice the pattern that everything gets worse and worse, right? Keep that thought, because it's only gonna get worse with the most unexpected ways. After a couple of hours, Mac and their producer had seen my stories, which was a relief because now I knew that they are aware of what I'm doing. But weird at the same time because we wouldn't get any kind of response. Deep inside, I was hoping for a surprise. Kimon was posting an update every hour or so on his YouTube channel, which you can find in the description. It was getting dark, I knew that nobody would come, but I still had hope for the next morning.
Gary, it's cold. I'm tired.
A hope that was crushed when Eric posted the story. He wasn't in LA, he was in Texas. We couldn't believe it. Kimon came all the way with me, spent his last money to be there for 4 days. And Eric wasn't even in LA. But we stayed there, hoping for a response. If you're wondering, this is what my bed looked like. But I couldn't sleep because we were constantly afraid that we would get jumped on. Cars would stop in the middle of the night and look at us. Some weird people would just pass in front of us and stare at us, which was creepy as hell. We made it till the morning. Multiple people had seen our stories from their team, but nobody messaged us, so I had to figure out a solution. I called Tyler from a different number, and he said that everyone is on their breaks right now for 2 weeks, which meant I had to survive on $300 for the next 2 weeks until they come back. I still had no information though about my gift delivery, so I decided to contact Mac. He said that it's not up to him, something which was difficult to believe at the time, because A, he's his best friend, so he definitely has some influence, and B, a couple of weeks ago, a Greek guy came to the US with the goal of being Eric's personal trainer, and he talked with Mac to get a response from Eric. How do I know that? He said it on a podcast.
Ο editor του Eric έκανε ένα τεράστιο live. Ουσιαστικά 25 άτομα, δεν τους παμάρω. Φτάσει στον Eric να διαβάσει το μήνυμα. Πάω να πέσω για ύπνο, κοιτάω το κινητό και μου είχε στείλει μήνυμα.
Also, Mac told me that when they did it to Logan Paul, they gave him content. They gave him value. At that point, I had a logical assumption to make. He told me that already many people are trying to meet them. They obviously don't want even more just going to them, especially if Eric doesn't get anything out of it. It just makes sense, right? So of course he's gonna try and discourage me from making it happen, because he doesn't know if and how I can provide value to them. Something that I tried to explain on the spot, but I was in such a hurry to keep him chatting that I didn't include the exact numbers I had as proof, which made my arguments not the best, but definitely open for mutual beneficial negotiation. Sadly, he stopped seeing my DMs, so I sent him this. At that point, my brain tells me, this is probably a challenge to see my DMs, so I sent him this.
I know that I'm probably uni at this point, but I really feel like this was my only chance to come clear. I hope everything goes well and you can for all of us.
At that point, my brain tells me, this is probably a challenge to see if I will give up or I keep pushing. So obviously I would keep pushing. That was Kimon's last day in LA. Now I had to move forward alone. But I had a new plan. Step 1, speak to anyone from Eric's team either in a video call or in person. Step 2, convince them that my time with him would be worth it. My time was limited, since my budget supported staying in LA only for a week in the cheapest hostel. As we were having that conversation with Kimon, we walked into some amazing people who saw my YouTube shirt and asked us what we were doing. After a brief explanation, we became friends and they even gave me $20 to strengthen my budget. In the past days, I had contacted a lot of couch surfing hosts with the hope that I would have a place to stay, but I got rejection after rejection after rejection. That night, Kimon left, and I slept at the hostel, or at least I tried to sleep.
Lindels é meio caminho andado.
He's crazy.
Com envio grátis, não há melhor altura para comprar em segunda mão na Vinted. Descarrega hoje a Vinted.
I decided that
It's
I would
crazy.
no longer bother them since they're on holiday, which
It's
I was
crazy.
hoping that was the reason that they didn't respond. Because they work really hard, so they don't want to do work-related stuff on their holiday. It just makes sense. But at the same time, I found it weird that they would be out of town at the moment they would hit 10 million subscribers. And what do you know? 2 days later, I wake up and I see this story from Eric. He was getting on a plane and he had 9.9 million subscribers. I saw this as a great opportunity to be the first person who congratulates him while delivering the gift and explaining myself. All I had to do was to be there when he lands. After seeing the difference in time zones, I spent the next 10 minutes researching flights and airports, and I managed to figure out the exact airport, terminal, and time he would arrive. Almost. I found two flights that were a perfect match. The problem was that those two flights were in two different airports on different sides of the city. So I had to take a gamble. I picked the most common one, and the only way for me to be there on time was with an Uber, which was expensive, but it could be worth it. I went to the airport and I found the point where he's supposed to exit from. Would he find it weird? Very likely. Would this be my only chance to make it happen and explain everything to him? Very likely. So I waited and waited. The passenger stopped coming. He wasn't there. I lost the gamble. Sadly, I was too broke to take an Uber back. So I walked for 3 hours to my hostel. The next day I saw that they were having a party for the 10 million subscribers at Airac's house. So I gathered all the Instagram profiles of the people who were there, since they are somehow related to him. Then I posted 2 stories where I tagged every one of them, and I explained how difficult my situation is, how much they inspired me, and that I'm not going to stop. Many people saw it, but sadly, no response. Again. But at that point I was really curious about something. Did they lie to me on purpose when they say they would be back in 2 weeks? Or that was the plan, but it changed because they hit 10 million subs? Cause it doesn't make much sense that I managed to figure out the exact week they would hit 10 million, especially 2 months prior. But they didn't, while having all the analytics and a big team. Anyhow, I messaged all those people who were at the party. I told them that I came from the other side of the world, my goal, and that any help would be appreciated. Either by talking to any of the main team members, or even delivering the gift on my behalf. Again, no response. The 10th day of being in LA, I made a big mistake. I was on my last $70 and YouTube was kind enough to recommend me this video, where a man talks about his life as homeless in LA.
I just got jumped the other day. I've been jumped 13 times. Can't keep a cell phone because it gets stolen. And who steals a homeless man's shoes? Your shoes can be completely worthless and someone still takes them.
And guess what? I had my camera with me, 2 phones and a big luggage. If I had nowhere to stay with these things on me, I would be robbed 100%. And I would be trapped in a country on the other side of the world with no passport, no phone and no money. To further prove this point, as I'm editing this video, Phidias, who has so much experience with surviving, being homeless and so on, he got robbed on his first day returning to California and sleeping in the streets.
When I was sleeping outside Twitter, someone came and stole my bag. Inside, $5,000 worth of stuff. My laptop, my passport.
I was terrified of what would happen if I became homeless and I got robbed. What mistake did I do? I posted this story. Currently I have around $70. I have nowhere to stay, pretty much almost no food. I eat 1 noodles a day, that's why I look like shit. And honestly, all I wanted to do is to express Eric my gratitude because he inspired me so much from the very earliest of his career. I quit university, I quit both of my jobs to become a full-time creator. I've come really close to it. I've joined Creator now and I went from like 500 subs to 50,000. I'll try and sell my camera to survive the next 20 days before I leave this place. But you know what? It's really unfair. Because I've sacrificed probably the most out of any person who ever came to give anything to you. And I still get completely ignored. I'm not even worthy for a single response. I've come to the conclusion that nobody really cares. If it was up to you, you would probably let me starve in the street. So, Creator community my ass. I know what you're thinking though. You're probably saying that I didn't schedule things correctly, that I came unprepared and so on. You see, I had prepared accommodation and then I finished the story by explaining about my accommodation, how it got cancelled, etc. Eric, his manager and other team members saw it. I shouldn't have posted that. At the time, I felt scared. I felt like the situation was really unfair. Cause all I wanted was 5 minutes to give the gift, express my gratitude, film my video and leave. And that seemed impossible to arrange since nobody was responding or they simply said that they had no power over it. I know that I was forcing, but I didn't see any other option. After all, as Eric says, I succeed or die trying. But there was something even greater that pushed me into posting that story. I couldn't understand how they could talk about being the strongest community on the internet.
Strongest community of creators on the internet.
Which I was a part of and gave my everything every time I joined. And honestly, the information in there is pure gold. And at the same time, most of them have either in their bio or even on their stories, quotes or anything else related to following your dreams. Or even on their stories, quotes or anything else related to following your dreams or simply gratitude. But at the same time, I was trying to follow my dream, regardless of the fact that I had no money and the fact that I didn't win the lottery. This is what I mean.
Like you said, we won the lottery. Like, I live in America. Crazy.
Yeah.
I'm a tall white male. Crazy. Like, there are so many people born with poor health, are in a position where they don't have the opportunity to do this, are literally just born in the wrong place.
Think you could succeed as a different person if you ever had to be someone else?
I think that 2 years ago me would have said like yes off the rip, but I've come to be so empathetic because I've met so many like fans and stuff. There's so many things that like I just don't think about. Like, absolutely true that it's way harder for some people than others.
I might be a white male, but that's about it. I was born in a country that's incredibly hard to do YouTube. If you want to interact with people in your videos, many people do not speak English, and those who do very often don't want to be on camera. And if they want, it's very common due to cultural differences that they will not be as reactive as Americans, resulting in not that insane content. Companies don't take YouTube seriously, so they rarely sponsor it. And if they sponsor, they will sponsor for pennies and countless other obstacles. As I previously mentioned, I've had a really difficult background. The jobs I started at age 13 were really taxing on my body because I had to carry heavy loads. That caused me joint problems. At the age of 18, I was feeling so bad about myself that I became overweight. In combination with my joint problems, I couldn't stand for more than 15 minutes without feeling unbearable pain in my knees. But you know what I did? I went from overweight to this, naturally, in a stupidly low amount of time, and overcame all my health problems. I didn't even think that was physically possible, but I did it. And after seeing Eric talking about empathy and how he understands that life can be unfortunate sometimes in that podcast, I thought that he would at least let me speak for myself. Because no matter how much I've been through life, I've always kept pushing. And I was in LA chasing my dreams, trying to film that video, and all I got for it was ignored. I felt like what they were saying with what was happening simply didn't match. In all honesty, all I wanted at that point was to talk to somebody and solve any misunderstanding there was. And after that, I wouldn't mind even if they told me to f*** off. I just wanted to have a chance to speak for myself. Based on information I have right now, they didn't like those comments, and they considered me emotionally unstable. Because of my experiences and after dealing with so much pain, I thought that I could manage anything. And emotionally unstable was probably the only thing in my entire life that I thought that I would never be called. But we're humans, we make mistakes. I guess there's always a breaking point we don't know about. At that moment I knew that I had no power over the situation. They knew. They just chose to ignore me without telling me why. I had money only for 2 more days at the hostel, so I decided to put my mind somewhere else. So I filmed a different video which is really dumb, but I think you'll like it because it's funny. While filming it, I met truly wholesome people which helped me restore my energy and positivity levels. And for
I can join your guild on one condition.
What is it? We'll do anything.
Kick that loser Rove out.
And for me, being low on positivity is crazy rare, because I'm a person who always sees the good in bad situations and tries to figure out solutions. And that night, something crazy happened. I noticed that Phidias went out to SpaceX to hug Elon Musk. I thought that was amazing, so I sent him a good luck message. His response left me speechless. Within minutes, he responded thanking me and offering me to stay at his house. I couldn't believe it. Now I didn't have to sell my camera to get accommodation. I gladly accepted, and the next day I moved there. My confidence was back up, so as I was going to the house, I posted a couple of stories for Eric, emphasizing that all I wanted was 5 minutes, and if the problem was that I couldn't be useful to them, I was willing to bet anything that I could prove them wrong. Then I gave them some information about me, including some of my background, which I told you guys about earlier. The reason for that wasn't to show them that I got problems or they affected me mentally, but the opposite, that all that stuff has strengthened me so much that I'm not gonna quit even in the worst situations. And lastly, I spoke with numbers to prove that I can even bring views if that's what they want. And I know that I'm a nobody. I'm not trying to brag or show that I'm someone. I'm just working with what I have here. And that's because this is what he said when it comes to any kind of collaboration.
If you're going to try to do a collaboration, you have to create a situation where they win bigger than you do.
So I tried to make it almost effortless for him, so he spends barely any time and gets as much as I can give him. Let me explain. What would I get from this video? 1. A good ending for the video, and 2. The feeling that I achieved what I wanted to do, which was be there face to face and say, thank you for everything, this is how you changed my life, and I brought you a gift. Now let's see what they get. First of all, they try to promote the hell out of their course, Creator Now. as there are ads everywhere about it. They try to get testimonials even by offering free stuff to those who do it. If we go to their website, you can see that the testimonials are exactly what you would expect from any course with a lot of effort into it.
Before Creator Now, I was losing subscribers for a long time. I was posting the same content over and over, and I honestly had no idea how to improve.
Creator Now has truly impacted my life by connecting me with so many like-minded creators.
Stuff like I learned a lot, I learned how to do YouTube, I connected with many people, and many other things along these lines. Knowing how much they advertise it, and that they push people into sending them testimonials, makes me have an educated guess that their conversion rate is not the best it can be. So the first thing I could give them, in my humble opinion, is one of the best, if not the best testimonial they ever had. Because it's a story that's the definition of against all odds. Arak literally inspired me so much that I got out of depression, quit university and both of my jobs, and actually became a YouTuber using the knowledge from his course, even making a full-time income from the first months. And all of that after having a past that would scar most people for life. I guarantee you, somebody reads that, sold. Actually wait, sold. The second thing he gets is the content out of that interaction. Easily clickbaity, since I was planning something impressive even with no budget. It would for sure be an emotional moment, so that's also very good for content. You might argue that he wouldn't post something like that on his channel, for which I'm completely aware, but I'm also aware that he has a second vlogging channel. Or he could even do a short, as he tends to put in a lot of effort even in shorts. So why not get an emotional short that requires no effort by him and praises him? He would still get content no matter what. So it would be very convenient for him, he wouldn't have to leave his house, he wouldn't have to do anything. He would get free content and I would fix a problem for him, where he would get a testimonial that would turn a website viewer into a buyer. I believe that the requirement he set,
you have to create a situation where they win bigger than you do,
is fulfilled. But there was even more to add, which would be optional of course. Apparently I have a weird but funny personality because I react to many situations in unique and unexpected ways. How do I know? People keep re-uploading my videos across platforms, getting millions of views. In 2022 I had over 1 billion uncredited views, which would cause me seeing things like this. My video, which was stolen by somebody, who stole it from somebody else, who gave credit to somebody who stole it from me, all getting millions of views. And honestly, I've seen hundreds of these during this year. I also tried posting my own clips on a new TikTok account. The result was 32 million views in the first week, which made KSI react to one of my worst clips and have me on the thumbnail. This just proves that if Arak wanted to use me for a video, he would get interesting content to say the least, which for him would mean views, therefore value. And my reactions would be even better than what I do online because I would be there for the pure enjoyment of the moment. I would be there for nothing more, not even the clout as many other people.
I'm gonna pitch Arak a business we have and see what his reaction is. What brings you here today?
Arak's pizza party.
Are you here for the pizza or something else? Why do you want to meet him?
Love you down to the bone.
Big views.
Because having to put Arak in my videos to get views is really not what I want. And before you say maybe they didn't like you because you were somewhat narcissistic by saying that you won't stop, you will make it no matter what, and you can even bring value and views to such a big creator like Arak. Well, this is your answer.
If you're doing this, you have to have a little bit of a god complex and like a little bit of a narcissist piece to you, you know what I mean? And I don't think that like takes over my personality, but I just think it's fun to be competitive.
Now that I have explained a lot of stuff through my stories, you may think that I would get some kind of response, right? Yeah, the kind of response I never imagined. His team started to block me. Producer, manager, creative director, even Mac. English is my third language, so I'm afraid I don't have the vocabulary to explain how bad that felt. I was expecting to be told what the problem was, or under what conditions we could have done it, but I simply got blocked. Nothing made sense at that point. I just felt like there was something that I wasn't aware of. Maybe some kind of misunderstanding. Maybe they were biased against me for some reason. Maybe they had wrong information about me. I had no idea. I arrived at Phidias' house. The craziest thing is that he actually trusted me.
Scared.
He has all his stuff, all his notes here. And I cannot possibly describe how grateful I feel for this. Then I posted my final story for Arak. Eric, I still have hope. I made you a pizza play button for the 10 million subs and I really want to give it to you, so please, can we make it happen? And I went out to get Phidias some subscribers as a way of showing gratitude.
Phidias. Phidias.
Subscribe.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
The name is Phidias. 97 more. Thank you so much, sir.
Worn out faces. During the next days, nothing really happened. I was just filming stuff. Until Arak posted his 10 million subs video. It felt very relatable. But as I was filming my live reaction, there was a point that I didn't know how to feel about.
Watch all these other YouTubers pop off and get big and sell out, and I feel like they don't even think of their fans as fans, they just think of them as numbers. But I see you guys, and I appreciate you guys.
You know that feeling I described earlier, that what's being said doesn't match with what's being done. But that video made me realize that I need to find a way to make this right. So I decided to go back to my previous plan, talk to someone from the team. But in person, since nobody was responding. And the most appropriate person I could target for that was Tyler. Since I spoke to him before, he hasn't blocked me, and if there is a misunderstanding, he must know about it. I turned my Instagram notifications on, both for Tyler and his close friends Darata and Manuel. A couple of days later, I finally got my chance. They posted a story of them walking outside in the street. After a minute, I knew exactly where that was. So I ran to the metro station and then to the bus. The weather was getting worse and worse. I even received a message by the government that indicated that this could be a life-threatening situation and I needed to go home immediately. But that could be my one chance to make things right.
No way! It was because of the... I forgot the name of it!
And I'm not missing it. I went to that exact spot, I stood in a corner and I waited. What was I waiting for? Well, if they're going somewhere, they must be coming back, right? When they came back, I would be ready for a real conversation. Less than 20 minutes passed, and guess who walked right in front of me? No, not Tyler, I'm not that lucky. It was Manuel, who is also a YouTuber. He was the main character of Arak's latest video at the time. And also he hangs out a lot with Tyler. He went in Chipotle, I followed him, I waited for him to grab his food, and then I showed up.
Hey, Manuel. Hey, how are you, buddy? What's up, bro? You probably don't know me, right? No, I don't think so. Can I have 5 minutes of your time? Yeah, right? Yeah, what the heck? You got me so off guard. I know, right? What, are you a YouTuber as well? Yeah. Cool. I kind of predicted you would be here, so that's really? That's like super weird. That's like actually it's weird, but sometimes you know that you have to do some things to get things done. Okay, what's your name? Vlad. Okay, cool.
Okay. We had a brief conversation where I explained what was going on, and I told him that there must have been a misunderstanding since everyone was ghosting me, including Tyler. Manuel said it's probably because they're very busy or you need to provide value to them. I covered the value part 5 minutes ago. Anyways, I told him that I would leave the US in 2 days. We swapped phone numbers and he promised me that he would speak with Tyler and call me back no matter what to let me know what's going on. Then he gave me a bro hug and we left the building. That moment was awkward because they left and I had to leave as well, to the same direction they were going. So I just stood there, looking at the horizon, waiting for them to disappear. That way they don't think that I'm following them, because another misunderstanding is the last thing I need right now. But during our conversation, Manuel told me something interesting I didn't pay attention to. The first pizza party would be in New York, 10 days from then. To meet him in an event wasn't ideal, because there are gonna be so many fans there that each person will get like 15 seconds with him, and I needed at least 5 minutes. But at that point, I had no other option. I had to go to New York. That day, I had only $10 left, and I spent 3 of them for transportation to get to Manuel. My original flight back to Cyprus was in 2 days. What did I do? I go home, I call the airline, and I ask, how much would it be to change both the date and the airport? Luckily for me, he told me it was only $20. The problem was I had 6, and the person from the airline was ready to make the transaction on the line. I called Kimon on my second phone. Kimon didn't have $15 in his bank account either, so he had to ask a relative to give him $15 so he can give it to me. Yes, that's how broke we became for this video. I changed the flight, but now the problem was that I had to get to New York as soon as possible, because I had to be one of the first people in line to get into the party. On the flyer it said, no one gets left behind, so that meant they wouldn't kick me out.
Novo shampoo Herbal Essences, cabelo até 100% suave como uma pétala. La vie en rose.
It's in November. Oh no, it's November from last year. I forgot about it. It wasn't now, it was a year ago. Okay, it makes sense.
Right?
Yeah.
but I had exactly $0. What did I do? I borrowed $500 from a friend. And the only flight that I could afford with that was on the 17th, which costed me around $400. Even though I was in an even greater debt, I was going to New York to complete my mission. But soon another thing happened that made me do my second mistake. It's been 2 days since I spoke to Manuel. The day that I was supposed to leave the US has arrived, and he never called. I tried calling him.
Please leave your message for...
I don't know what I expected. I tried calling Tyler, I got ghosted again. A couple of minutes later, Manuel posted an Instagram story, which means he saw my call, he just chose not to answer. It was clear to me that Tyler thinks something bad about me. So when Manuel he just chose. A couple of minutes later, I tried calling him.
Please leave your message for...
I don't know what I expected. I tried calling Tyler, I got ghosted again. A couple of minutes later, Manuel posted an Instagram story, which means he saw my call, he just chose not to answer. It was clear to me that Tyler thinks something bad about me. So when Manuel tried to talk to him about me, Tyler told him something that made him ghost me, even though he said that he would call me no matter what. It felt incredibly unfair. I had no idea what I did wrong. I always had good intentions. I sacrificed so much to be there. I even did what Eric himself wouldn't do. Do YouTube without having another source of income, a safety net.
Like, I was never aware that you had a fully functioning business prior to doing this. I always speculated in my head of like, did this guy just go all in with no plan, like a no safety net?
So I knew that there would be money coming in somehow, some way. Absolutely. Yeah. I would not have just like all of a sudden done this, but...
And quitting university before even making any money on YouTube.
I want to build a 6-figure company so that I can justify leaving school. Because I'm not going to leave school if I have nothing to leave it for. And once I do that, then I can then justify to my parents why I'm no longer doing this.
And that happened with the wedding.
Yeah, that happened with the wedding business.
I thought that someone would at least respect that a little bit, but it seemed that the only result was that I was labeled as something bad. That even people who don't know me started ghosting me and hiding stories from me. Thing is, everyone to whom I spoke on the phone or in person...
Wait, what?
...me and hiding stories from me. Thing is, everyone to whom I spoke on the phone or in person was completely fine to me. So if they had a problem with me, why was that being done behind my back instead of talking about it with me? But that felt so unfair. The feelings from my first mistake started to reappear. I felt like a loser. I felt like a failure towards my mom, my girlfriend, and the people who believed in me. That feeling got so bad that I would wake up in the middle of the night because of nightmares.
4 a.m. or nightmares. It's 5 a.m. I just woke up from another nightmare.
My physical condition wasn't the best either, because I was eating only what I could afford. McDonald's.
We got a free Big Mac, and we also got $1 large fries.
I was using the 1+1 offer from McDonald's, so I would spend around $3 to $5 daily on food. Why McDonald's? Because it was the most amount of food for the least amount of money. That way I wouldn't feel like I'm starving. But because of the quality of the food, my body wasn't feeling that well. This video had so much risk in it that just to fall asleep I had to consume melatonin pills. All these feelings paired with the reawoken feelings of my first mistake made me do my second, which was that I sent this message to Tyler. I'm not gonna DM you again, but I want you to know that you guys are legit horrible people. I can imagine what you said to both Manuel and Darat about me. Weird, creep, stalker, and for sure more things along these lines. The first time we spoke I had a dreadful day and I was also very nervous, but that was enough for you to make an impression, I guess. You don't know me, you cannot possibly imagine the things I had to go through in my life to be here. So the I know how it feels, I've been there is just crap. No, you haven't been here. If you did, you would have quit a really long time now. Since you don't even have the decency to, as I said to Manuel, talk about a misunderstanding. Hypocrisy at its finest. Have a good night. I still regret that. I haven't felt that bad in I don't even know how many years. A couple of hours later, I calmed down. I realized that I fucked up, so I sent him this message. I apologize. I shouldn't have said that. I just felt incredibly bad at the time. Mainly that you guys have a totally wrong impression of me and not letting me explain. If you would only let me explain, you would understand, I swear. It just felt so wrong and unfair that people I once looked up to and even that I would love to be friends with one day ended up considering me weird or whatever else you might think of me, which causes you to ghost me. Manuel seemed like a good guy, and even though he promised he would at least get back to me and tell me what's going on, he never did. Which felt really bad, cause I thought I could solve the misunderstanding. I am 100% sure that anything you might find weird about me, I can explain it and you will understand it. Being completely alone in a foreign country while even your family back at your country considers you a failure doesn't help either and really hurts. Trust me. Tyler responded to this one, but with a voice message.
Hey Vlad, yeah, seems like a weird situation now. I thought I'd respond to your messages with this voice message real quick. Yeah, I have no hard feelings. Yeah, not at all. I don't think Manuel or Dar does either. We're just all really, we're super busy, man. We get like a lot of these messages a day. It does get like exhausting for sure. We all really value our personal space and like, you know, being able to go places without being run up on, and especially like our homes and stuff like that. Those are a really sacred place to us. But dude, again, I'm wishing you all the luck with your channel and the video you're trying to do. But yeah, I don't really see myself having like a big role in the video, helping you get to Eric and all that. So again, dude, all the luck in the world with it.
I explained the situation a little bit further, but he never saw the messages. I knew that my time with Hera could be super limited, so I wrote a letter explaining why I wanted to meet him. And the second page, how I can provide value, since everyone insisted about value, which
Okay, that's stupid. That's just stupid. They're like... Wait.
as I said,
Like
originally
they are
I
like,
wouldn't even mention it. So
they're like, oh yeah, for us to have a video together, to have a thing together, you have to have value. Bro, what the fuck?
since I talked about what I can bring to the table in terms of value, I said I might as well shoot my shot. And I asked at the end of the letter if he would let me prove myself. A couple of days went by and the time had come.
Ladies and gents, this is the moment you've waited for.
First thing I did when I arrived to New York was to blend with the crowd. And then I immediately went to line up for the party.
Apparently we made it and we are in the top 10 people. Here we have the first guy who came, but he's sleeping as you can see. We shouldn't wake him up.
This was the second guy. He brought the world's smallest ranch, and he told us something really interesting about the first guy, Vic.
Yeah, he has a little secret. Yeah, he has to show you what it is.
It was 1 a.m. It was freezing cold, even with a sleeping bag, but there was someone who didn't even have a sleeping bag.
It's my first night in America and I'm sleeping in the street while I get booked a hotel.
It's unreal. This guy booked a $500 hotel and on his first night he's homeless.
We used cardboards and whatever else we could find to warm ourselves up. But that was just the beginning. It was freezing cold, so the boys had an idea. They brought wood, and before we knew it, we had a fireplace. Which didn't last long because somebody called the fire department, so I had to resort to other ways of heat, such as push-ups. The next morning, I talked with Vic, with whom I had a potential similarity.
What the fuck, New York people? What the fuck? What the...
First person who came here since Tuesday. I'm tired, yeah. He's also the guy who was the first at the Mr. Beast event. Yes, sir. There is a really high chance that we made the same kind of gift.
I gotta see yours first.
Brand. The brand. Who's sponsoring it? Oh, okay, I'll give it to you now.
It was the moment of truth. Did we make the same gift?
2, 1. The 3D print is actually us. This looks awesome. And this box is from the other side of the world as well. Oh, okay. It's a Pizza Hut from Cyprus.
His gift was beautiful, but little did we know that more people with similar gifts would pull up the next day. More people started to show up. We had a wholesome group of people and we were bonding. We also helped with moving in the Pizzafy sauce, which is really good. At this point, I have a massive surprise for you. Guess who's back to finish what we started? Kimon! Hours went by, and that night was even colder than the last one. The next day, more people and more pizzas had arrived, which meant I had to scare the competition.
I heard that you're my competition for the play button, right? Yes. Okay, listen. I'm gonna make this really simple. If yours is better, there is a slight chance you might not attend the event, okay? I mean, it is how it is, I'm sorry.
Which didn't work, so we showed our pizzas to each other.
I'll give you props, that's nice.
Thank you.
It's so heavy, I can't hold this much longer.
This is a play button that is 100% hand sculpt.
That's actually really nice. I like
pretty sick.
I like
Thank
both
you.
of you guys.
Wow.
This one is
My
really
first
pretty.
ever video was stars, so that's why we did Galaxy's theme.
The Sweet Pablo's Pizza, I got the merch on. And I drove 14 hours to literally deliver him a pizza.
So I got this pizza all the way from Italy, and then brought it to England, and then customized everything, and I've turned it into Arak.
We also had the talent show, where I danced.
And
then showed them a magic trick.
Take a step back so we have no accidents, okay? Oh, here.
The security put us in a line as Eric and his team was already inside. The line was building up with thousands of people, and I was the number 14. Until Jack turned my ticket in 2 pieces.
With how big the line right now is, I could probably sell this for 10k. But the thing is that I wouldn't sell it even for 100k. I'm being honest.
do it for?
Yo, what the fuck? Yo, what the fuck?
You need to go back to England, mate. You can't stay here. You gotta stay somewhere. Look at the vein.
Thankfully, that didn't matter and I could still enter. That was the moment where things started to take unexpected turns. A security guard came up to me and told me to follow him. He told me that they have been watching me for the past weeks and he wanted me to explain what was going on. But that got me curious about one thing. How could they hire someone to watch me, but not even a single person to talk to me to clear any doubt they might have? I told him how Eric inspired me and that all I wanted was to give him the gift. Anyways, he let me go back to the line. But 5 minutes later, another security guard came up to me and asked me to see my gift. After he inspected it, he said that it's okay and he told me to keep it outside my bag. Which I must admit felt weird, like, come on guys, do you think I was carrying a bomb or something? Anyways, I followed the instructions, everything seemed okay, the security guard left. But 5 minutes later, he came back. And what he said was devastating. He told me that I had to give him my phone while I was inside and that nobody was allowed to film me. That's right, 5,000 people and I was the only one who wasn't allowed to film.
But I see you guys.
What the fuck, bro? No. My anxiety could never do this kind of thing. Never.
And I appreciate you guys.
They just said that I cannot film inside. Without even a reason. You know what? You cannot film.
And I feel like they don't even think of their fans as fans, they just think of them as numbers.
People around me were very disappointed by that, and they were very supportive.
I was asking myself, how could a creator do that to another creator? Especially when I have been through all of that just for this moment. How could me filming would impact him in any way? I couldn't see any reasoning. Was it for safety? Safety from what? It's just footage on a phone like 1,000 others would do. I was completely devastated. I walked in, they body checked me if I had any hidden cameras, microphones, or I don't know, anything other on me. I felt like I was treated like a terrorist, and I was the only one.
But I see you guys, and I appreciate you guys.
I'll use footage I found online to give you guys an image of what the event looked like. I walked in and I firstly talked with his Greek personal trainer. He told me that they thought that I went to the house, which I didn't, but apparently either Mac or Tyler misunderstood me before I even went to the US. Like, what kind of assumption was that? Why didn't you just ask me what my plan was? He told me that I was spamming the whole team, which when he said it, it made sense. But at that time I have been 10 days in LA without a single response, possibly because of the misunderstanding of the previous point. So yes, it might have been a mistake, but I was spamming everyone with the hopes that somebody would respond so I could solve this misunderstanding. Then he told me that I let my feelings take over so they couldn't trust me. Again, I completely understand that. Even in this video I labeled those actions as mistakes. But at that time, when you have limited time, no money, no communication with anyone, even fear for your life due to the homeless issues I explained, and all those thoughts about chasing your dreams I described earlier, I don't know, who wouldn't break? And that's something that even Mac told me later on when I met him, that even he would have broken way earlier than that. I walked further in and I spoke to Tyler. He seemed to be understanding my point of view. He felt my pain from the messages and that's why he responded and he was having that conversation with me. He told me that none of the things that happened defined me and that I'm only defined by the person I am right now. He told me that men do break. We spoke a little bit more and he told me that he liked and respected me after that conversation. Honestly, my respect for him after that skyrocketed. Tyler, if you're watching this, thank you. Then I went to Mac. Thankfully he was willing to talk as well. I apologized for breaking, and as I previously mentioned, he said that he would break way earlier, and that we're generally okay now. But the time had come to encounter the final boss, Eric. I stepped on the stage and I told him that I apologize for anything wrong I have done. He replied, as you should. I gave him the gift, he said it's awesome. Then I gave him the letter and he said that he will read it later. And I left. And that was the end of the story. My only concern is, if everything ended up being okay, then why I still couldn't film. While I was in there, I learned some information that they believed about me, which led to whatever happened. Firstly, they thought that I went to the house, which I didn't. Then they thought that I was following them around, stalking them or something like that. In reality, I only attempted to meet someone in person twice, Eric at the airport and Tyler. And that was only because clearly there was a misunderstanding which they were not willing to talk about, so I had to fix that. They thought that I couldn't control my emotions, but they didn't know the events before that. And when they did learn, they said that it's okay to break and that they would have broken way before that. The reason I made this video is because I promised you guys, my viewers, a video about Eric. Since I have been working on this for so long, I had to show you what happened by walking you through my experience and my feelings during this journey. And there could be even more things that they thought about me that I just don't know, for which I assure you, if they talk to me about it, I would be able to change their mind. I still respect Eric as a creator, and I would like to thank Tyler for the genuine conversation we had. I only wish we had it sooner, so all that unnecessary trouble would have been avoided. But most importantly, I would like to thank Phidias. His generosity was not only a game changer, but his trust honors me. Sadly, I haven't been unblocked by anyone yet, including Mac, who said that we're okay. But I have to give credit to him because when we were talking through DMs at the start of the journey, he was super nice. All of this put me in a couple of $1,000s in debt and made me realize that determination is not the only factor in play when you want to achieve something big. It might have worked for Eric in all the videos that he relied completely on people's kindness and luck, but sadly that's the exception and not the rule. I believe that's something Eric needs to pay more attention to when promoting the mentality that anything is possible as long as you have enough determination and you try hard enough. Because he's extremely influential to many people, and I'm already fine with what happened. Been through worse, I've learned my lesson and I will use it to become better than ever. But somebody else who is really determined to do something and gets a harsh reality check after he put his mind and soul into something might cope with it very differently and not in a good sense. And personally, I do believe that with enough determination you can achieve anything big. The catch is that big thing might not be what you wanted. And the logic behind it is really simple. If you keep shooting shots, no matter how hard each shot is, if you never stop, eventually you will score. It might not be where you wanted to score or when you wanted to score, but eventually, sometime in the future, you will score. That's it for me.
Okay, nice.